We were robbed. Okay, that might sound bad out of context. It would probably make me sound like one of those jackass grifter loser types that try to stir up trouble. I don't want to say anything like that. I mean, let's talk about Doctor Who, the 15th Doctor era. As now it's over. Spoiler alert if you came into this whole retrospective thingy about the whole 15th Doctor era, you sort of came for the spoilers. And it just feels like we were robbed. But not only that, Ncuti Gatwa, it feels like he was robbed too. See, eventually, after a bit of bad Doctor Who, I mean, I love Jodie, but I did not like the 13th Doctor's episodes a lot. A lot of them were bad. And then in The Power of the Doctor in 2022, it was announced shortly before that the role of the Doctor would be taken up by Ncuti Gatwa, who was the first person of colour to take up the role, and also the fourth Scottish person. Hooray! Number 4 for Scotland. And then, 23rd October 2022, the 13th Doctor regenerated into David Tennant.
What?
That was probably the first sign that Ncuti Gatwa was robbed, because he was advertised as the 14th Doctor, it's the 14th Doctor, 14th Doctor reveal, and then it was retroactively changed to 15th Doctor, because now the 14th Doctor would be David Tennant again, because they follow Grover Cleveland rules, serving the role as the Doctor on 2 non-consecutive occasions. So eventually we would then get the 2023 specials with the 14th Doctor, and in the third one, The Giggle, the Doctor would bigenerate into the 14th and 15th Doctor. Keep in mind on that, I'm going to bring up bigeneration later. Then eventually, the 14th Doctor would retire, and the 15th Doctor would go on to continue doing the Doctor Who-y things. Coming back later that year for the Church on Ruby Road, which is technically the first episode of the 15th Doctor's adventures. Unfortunately, because of things, we barely even got any episodes of Ncuti Gatwa. So there were 2 Christmas specials and 2 seasons, which both contained 8 episodes, which honestly is a bit far too short. Sure, because of the deal made with Disney, they ordered 26 episodes, but they also gave a buttload of money for Doctor Who, so they got to up the budget for it, which is, awesome. But we went from 10 episode seasons down to 8, and this is already reduced from like 12 and 13. So we're getting less episodes still. And annoyingly, because Ncuti Gatwa was in the middle of filming for Barbie, they had to do 2 Doctor Who Without the Doctor episodes, which is episodes of Doctor Who in which the Doctor is not prevalent. Now, these are not bad things on their own necessarily. I mean, some of Doctor Who's best episodes have been Doctor Who Without the Doctors. We've had Blink, we've had Turn Left, and most of Love and Monsters was also very good. But we got 2 in the same season, and back-to-back. We had 73 Yards, which is honestly an amazing episode. Like, goddamn, it is great. It chills me to my core. It is that one episode that I will not rewatch because it scares me. But then there was also Dot and Bubble, in which the Doctor is only prevalent through a green screen. So that's 2 episodes out of the season taken out. And, okay, that would be fine. But then, the 4th episode of the second 15th Doctor season, Lucky Day, is another Doctor Who Without the Doctor episode, as it features mainly Ruby Sunday. The few episodes that didn't actually have the Doctor in them, we had some brilliant ones. We had Boom, we had Rogue, and Space Babies was okay. I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more. So the main theme of the 15th Doctor's one is like, after the Giggle, the 14th Doctor accidentally let a whole bunch of, myths and whatnot into the universe. So the 15th Doctor one is defined by abstract concepts. Space Babies was one that dealt with, childhood fear. That's an abstract concept. The Devil's Chord was music, and what a world without music would be like. It would be very boring. 73 Yards is fairies and fey curses. Oh, that's a good one. And then it culminated with The Legend of Ruby Sunday and the Empire of Death, in which they deal with Death himself, Sutek. Another thing is that these new revived episodes, Russell had a good idea of doing like no callbacks, no comebacks. He would only do original ideas and then end off with the comeback of a villain who hasn't been around since, like, before the original reboot inning. That's fine, that makes sense. However, he does that twice in a row, where the final villain or villains of the second season were also callback villains, and they're big CGI monsters. On its own, it's fine, but twice in a row is kind of odd. Second season was also great. Lux, evil cartoon, The Well, it was the surprise sequel, so yeah, Russell lied a little bit, it was actually a comeback. The story and the engine, more abstract concepts. This season was definitely big swings. You take the big swings, you do a lot more original ideas, which, the 13th Doctor's first season was also like that, original ideas only, but, big swings. You don't hit all of them, but when you do hit them, they hit. Sure, not every episode was great. I wasn't particularly a fan of Space Babies, but not every episode has to hit. It doesn't ruin everything. I mean, 42 sucked, but it didn't ruin Series 3. Series 2 was actually kind of one of the best ones. I love Martha, but now that it's over, I'm just left with the feeling that we deserved more. And Ncuti deserved more, because there were a bunch of leaks that I had not followed, because I didn't want to follow them, because I like surprises. I didn't want to know that the Rani was going to be the villain. I was surprised, however, that the Rani was actually two villains. I also didn't know anything about Omega, because that was also a surprise, though he did become a CGI monster. Part of me really wants, like, the massive budgets are great. I just wish that they took those budgets and then stretched them out a little bit. Less budget per episode, so more, like, cheap costumes, rubber masks, less CGI, but more episodes. 13 even if we can't do 13, I'll take 10. 10 episodes a season. I can deal with that. And now Ncuti's run has come to an end, and he's barely had more than Eccleston. Eccleston had 13 episodes, all of them tight and great. Not a stinker in the bunch. Ncuti only had 8 episodes per season, so that's 16 regular episodes, and 2 specials. 2 Christmas specials. So that's 18 episodes. Subtract the 3 Doctor Who Without the Doctor episodes, and he had, on balance, 15 episodes. That's only 2 more than Eccleston. And not every episode was great, but mind you, again. But still, that's only 2 more than Eccleston. I'm not counting the giggle out. That was technically a 14th Doctor episode, but... And why did Ncuti leave? That's right, Ncuti left. He was not kicked out, he was not fired or anything. He left of his own accord, tragically. Why is that? It's Disney's fault. Actually, no, it's also the BBC's fault. Allow me to explain. See, only 26 episodes were, like, contracted by Disney. When they got the international distribution rights, they only paid for 26 episodes, which makes sense, and they wouldn't renew until all the episodes were delivered, and then they got the results, and they go, okay, we liked it, we'll renew for more. That's typical business talk. Now, there were the 18 15th Doctor episodes, the 3 14th Doctor episodes, and the 5-episode miniseries that's coming soon about the yassified sea devils, the war between the land and the sea. Now, Disney would not renew anything until they got every episode out, and that includes the now upcoming War Between the Land and the Sea. And the BBC obviously can't commit to making new episodes until they have a budget, and they can't have a budget until Disney says yes or no to renewing. And then, the BBC would go get money from elsewhere. That's just common business sense. But the BBC would also not confirm into a hiatus. At any point, they could have gone, okay, chaps, we've had 2 great seasons, we've got a miniseries on the way, we're going to take a hiatus for now, and we'll pop back, let's say, Christmas 2026. Everyone, Tulu, have fun at work. But they didn't. They were dragging their feet on calling a hiatus because Disney were dragging their feet on renewing. So with no budget or anything, they just stayed still. But if they didn't call a proper official hiatus, then Ncuti Gatwa could not get work elsewhere. Because, believe it or not, being the Doctor opens doors. It opens a lot of doors. And Ncuti Gatwa was getting calls. I don't know, maybe he was going to be the next Morbius or something. Morbius 2. But if he had to be on hold for Doctor Who, which was in a limbo state, and technically still is, because nothing's been renewed yet, then that would severely harm Ncuti's career. So he had to make a choice. Because the BBC would not call anything, he had to say, okay, I'm off. I'm going to get a job elsewhere because I'm being offered jobs. he couldn't just take a year out for a hiatus because they wouldn't call one. And so Ncuti's run was unfortunately cut short because they were building to something. They were really building that in the first season. They were building that the Doctor was talking about Susan. He was thinking about Susan. Maybe he'll find Susan, and then he set off at the end, and it felt like finding Susan was going to be the 15th Doctor's best thing. And then in the Interstellar Song Contest, we actually got to see flashes of Susan Foreman, the granddaughter, Carol Ann Freeman. Yes, that was so awesome. And allegedly, according to the very rumours that I'm getting most of my information from, there was an alternate ending shot for the reality war, because the ending we got was apparently shot in February when Ncuti Gatwa had to put his career first. In the original ending, they would have a party, celebrate, and then they would slowly pan the camera to the back where they see Susan Foreman, and that would build onto what I presume would have been Ncuti's third season, in which he actually gets to find Susan. The 15th Doctor gets to find Susan. It becomes his defining moment. But we get robbed of that, because the BBC and Disney would drag their feet, so Ncuti had to leave, so they had to shoot a new ending. And the ending they shot, I mean, most of the reality war is fine. It's serviceable. It's okay. It's not bad. It's a bit of a copy from the last season, but it's not bad. But the ending infuriates me, because they just have the Doctor regenerate, and it just feels too short. And it was so last minute, they had to film the scene and then CGI the 16th Doctor's face onto Ncuti's body for just a second. Christopher Eccleston called it, by the way, because the 16th Doctor is, spoiler alert, Billie Piper, which had me loudly screaming, "What? What?" I got her autograph last year. And now it's retroactively the first New Who Doctor autograph that I have. That is insane. But see, the thing is, this is actually season 2. When Russell came back, he decided to not make it series 14 and series 15. It would now be season 1 and season 2. And it was the way to get new viewers onto the show. Okay, that makes sense, especially when it makes sense that new viewers get new monsters and whatnot. But a lot of the ending bits of Sutekh, and especially the Witchworld and Reality War, so many callbacks that casual viewers who have not seen previous episodes, new viewers even, they wouldn't get it. I mean, Dalek from the first series had to reintroduce Daleks. It had to show new viewers why Daleks were scary in the first place. There was barely any reintroduction done here. It was just, hi, they're here, we fought them before, didn't we? So this isn't season 2, it's series 15. It has to be, for a continuity's sake. Especially since new viewers who haven't seen series 1 and have only seen seasons 1 and 2, or series 14 and 15, won't know who Rose is, so they'll probably have to reintroduce Rose, but they might not. I don't know, because this is such a last-minute thing. We deserved more. The viewers deserved more episodes. Ncuti deserved more episodes. We deserved so much more. So much more. So much more! That's why I started reading the Doctor Who novels, because there were so few episodes last season that I read the 3 15th Doctor and Ruby novels over the last year. Ruby Red is a great, like, more it's less abstract and more classic monsters, evil squid. Caged is much more the real enemy was greed and sort of thing. I actually read most of Caged while I was in the line to get my autograph from Billie Piper. Eden Rebellion is Doctor Who and the terrorists who ruined my holiday. A bunch of evil ghosts and whatnot. That was a fine book. I read those books because I wanted more Doctor Who, and I'm probably going to read Fear, Death by Water and Spectral whatever because I want more Doctor Who. I want more 15th Doctor. We deserved more 15th Doctor, and we don't get it. And that is my summary on the 15th Doctor's era. I liked what we got, but we deserved more. Everyone deserved more. Russell, you're pretty good, but maybe take a sideline for a wee bit. Come back fresh with some new ideas. Let someone else take over. New writers will be good. Also, the Interstellar Song Contest. It might have been an imperfect analogy for Moroccan oil in Israel at Eurovision, but, an imperfect analogy is still better than none at all. none at all would be much more tone deaf. So I'm just going to sign off. Ahoy hoy everyone. Regular videos should return eventually. This is just a one-off to sort of vent my frustrations into a microphone. So see you all next time.